Hey guys, this is Bill, and I wanted to show you my my new layout. Early in the evening on the moon, and I've been writing in Facebook that I've been trying to get better situated where I'm isolated from the telescope. I have the telescope over there, and the hand control that I was working with is dangling, and from the bottom of that hand control, if you look close, let me see if I can zoom, see the hand control? At the bottom there's a cable that goes right to my, right to there, through the into the PC. Also, if you look close, it's hard to see, it's a little dark, let me go in. I put a motorized focus control on this thing, and that also goes by cable into the PC. And then I put an extension USB cable from the Chinese camera into the PC. So bottom line, what I'm trying to do is isolate myself from the camera and eliminate the jerkies. I've got these pads that are pretty expensive that isolate the tripod legs from the wind vibrations and things like that. To do this setup though, you need two monitors, and I brought I got a little table here. I put a mouse on there, and I've got on the one screen the moon, and then on the external screen as a second screen, that's the number one screen, that's the number two screen. You have that number two screen plugged into the laptop, and then when you do that, you can slide things. Oh, you can't see, I'll show you. I'll take full screen off, and then when you do that, you can slide things. So you gotta go slide things back and forth. I got the Pew running on the main screen because I want to capture the main screen, but I slid the controls, the motor control and the focus control and the movement control to the secondary screen. And in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm just showing you things, because I know there's people out there that are watching this trying to learn things. It's going to be hard for you to see, but there is one thing called screen capture. For the last 3 videos that I've made of the moon, I was using a capture device. Tonight I'm going to use screen capture. That means instead of going right to the device, it's going to capture everything from the screen. And when I come over here and go on this control, go full screen, it'll fill the screen up and I'll capture that. Now what that means is I'll be able to use the mouse pointer to help show you where things are. I think that's a good intro. I'm going to shut it down and see what I can do on the moon tonight. I wish you and yours a wonderful evening. I hope it's as peaceful as it is here. You can see the skyline, it's going down. It's kind of nice because I can have my light on, and it doesn't affect my viewing. Although tonight, if you look close enough, the moon is right there. See the post right there, and see the telescope. I'm going to try to get this session in right now, otherwise I'm going to have to realign the scope. Have a good one, guys. Talk at you later. Okay, guys. This is Bill, live on the moon with my dogs barking. I did a little intro. I hope it was useful to show you what I'm trying to do. The only variant from that, what I showed you I had a motor control, and that I was going to use it for moving, and I'm using that next remote on the right monitor to do the movement, but it lost the signal, so I decided to take the focus control out of the circuit for right now. And I have the focus control on manual, and I want to just let it sit here for a second and try to focus it a little bit better, or if I can or not. It looks like it's pretty good, but I'll try. The advantage of this particular focuser is it's completely isolated. I think that's pretty good. It's completely isolated from me turning. I mean, vibration-wise, I'm isolated from the telescope. I'm not touching it. It's connected through a cord, through a pulse modulated signal. Okay, let's see that little speckle right there. See, I have the mouse control, and I can show you things now. That's probably a little bit. I'm going to turn the contrast down a little bit. I think I have the screen capture up to where you're not seeing the taskbar below. If it's there, that's the way it is. I'm going to leave it go. I've been talking about these things right here in the middle, these craters, and I think they're all man-made, alien-made. Okay, let's see if we can move this thing around, go to the shadow line. And again, I'm using the control. And let's go up. And see what we can see. We're live on the moon doing a survey of the moon on the day after Labor Day. Too much, see I have to turn the contrast down, or rather the gain. Look at that crater. Isn't that unusual? Right there. Very unusual crater. Look at the way it is. It's a big crater. And then at one on the edges we have two smaller craters. But then in the middle we're pocked with 1, 2, 3, 4 craters. Very interesting and very unusual. I think with this that wave action you see is going to be with us forever. We are earthbound, and the atmospherics will also, if you look right there in the middle of that, see that crater right there on the rim? There's a little thing sticking up. I think every one of those is alien, an antenna or something. It's just not natural. And as you can tell, I am looking for things that are definitely unusual on the moon. And not only that, but I am finding them. Let's see if we can turn the brightness down a little bit. See, I eliminated some of that stuff over there. I'll leave it like that for right now. It's not quite dark, it's getting dark, and it's going to get clear. On my rate is 3. I am using the hand control on the let's see if we can work with that image. It's just seems like it's turn the contrast up a little bit, turn the brightness up a little bit. You see it. That's the thing about this particular setup. It will go to the screen if it's too much. The gamma. That seemed to help a little bit. Although this area of the moon, if you remember last night, was really bright and it was washed out. Okay, let's go down now. Let's just work our way down and do our survey tonight. I want to work my way down the shadow line all the way to the actually the top of the moon. I'm going down, but I'm going up because it's a flipped image. Uh-oh, I'm learning something. I hit the, let me go right. On this particular control, there are some buttons in the middle of the buttons, and I think they make you go fast. So let me go back over here to the shadow line. I'm learning, guys. And let's go down. Now see, I did. Okay. I got to get used to like driving a car. You got to learn how to drive a car. Now look at the details that you can see. You can see these little ridge lines is what they are. You gotta remember, like, these are immense. Like those, that's like a crater, like a hornet's nest crater. It's up in the air. And I think I recognize something down there. Remember, you recognize that? We're gonna go. Yeah, I remember from last night. Now see, that's a lot clearer tonight. What does that look like? See that right there, that crater? And see that little thing? It looks like a lock that's opened up. And see that looks like a little mouse with 2 front legs and back legs. I have quite an imagination, guys. I'm very anxious to see our needle ship from last night. The advantage of doing a survey of the moon every night, and you get a fresh shadow line, but you also can review what you did the night before. Now, you have to admit that this is highly unusual that I'm able to do this night after night so far. Look at that crater. That's in a crater that's stuck up in the air, and I have no idea how high it is, but I imagine it's a half a mile high, at least, maybe more. It's an immense crater, and it's like a hornet's nest crater. I just can't get over. Got to be very careful the way I push my buttons here. Okay, I recognize this. It looks to me like this is the coughing ridge where I had my Sunday throat, you know, and I was coughing. See, I want to do a test just for my purposes, like right there. I don't think you can see that arrow. It's on the far right side because I think it starts about right here. the way I have the screen capture set up. You can't see the taskbar probably either, but you can see it right now. The advantage of this kind of a screen image is that I can talk about things and point to them. Big advantage, guys. And since I have the controls on this other screen, it doesn't affect the image, because the image is filling up this one screen on main screen on my laptop. I want to mention one other thing I'm doing. I ordered more memory for this, 8 gigabytes, and that will definitely help. As well, I ordered a hard drive for it, a faster one, a 7400 RPM drive, 850 gigabyte. I noticed watching some of my videos that every once in a while I lose something. You hear me talk, but the image is still on the screen. Now look at these look at the detail here. We got a little tiny crater. I know you got the atmospherics, and then you got these little things sticking up. And there's distinct shadows. Very, very unusual. And then you got a little mountain, you got a mountain range right here. Can you imagine if you were up there right now and exploring the moon, walking around in that valley right there and in that valley and walking out to the edge of that immense crater, and it doesn't look like that's a base because it's just flat. That's the way it should be. This stuff really, really fascinates me. I'm going to see if I can see that, what I called an egg statue from yesterday. There it is. It's not as clear though. Let me get it right there. I think the way I have it set up with this motorized control, the focus control, I can get it better in focus. That you can't see it as clearly as distinct, but if you remember from yesterday's video, I looked at it on the video on YouTube, and it looked to me like there were ring lines around it, and it could very well have been a crashed rocket ship. You can't tell from this image because it's too distorted. Okay, now we got a reference point. Let's go all the way to the top on the shadow line, methodically looking at things as we go. And I think I'm sitting well enough on the screen that we should be able to see the needle ship right there. See that straight line? That's from that mountain range. Remember that one night, that mountain range 3 nights ago was so distinctly high and clear, and now look at it. It doesn't look, it looks like it's washed out and small, and the Druid thing is over to the right. But that's just the way it is. That's why you come out and look at the moon every night. And look at these, you got a crater here, here, real tiny little craters, but it's all flat. It's like a plane. And then this one here, look at that crater, the way whatever came in kind of did ripple. See the concentric rings around it, and see the little craters right there, one there and one there. And look, it looks to me like there's a cave. Let me make it go to the right a little bit. See right there? Looks to me like a cave. Okay, let's not deviate because we'll be going down that in a little bit. Let's go up again, continuing to starting to get cooler down here in Texas, and the wind's not blowing as much. It might help those people that are having uh, those fires in Bastrop and Austin, and it's about 3 hours northwest of here. Uh, Look at that plane. Eventually, when I'm doing all this, I'll be able to get out my moon atlas and tell you the name of these craters, and eventually I'm going to point out all the landing sites, all the Apollo landing sites, because I have them on the map. I know where there are. Coming up on the right is again the coughing. Isn't that a spectacular image, guys? The coughing ridge, i.e. the spinal look. It looks like a spinal column. It's kind of going up here slow. I think I like the this presentation better because I can tell you more easily what I'm seeing. Look at that little kind of a peak, and look over here, the detail. There's a little thing in that crater right there. Okay, let's go to the left, get up to the shadow line. These are absolutely stunning. And there is a big hornet's nest crater. Immense. I kind of like that speed. It's just nice and slow. You know, I was looking yesterday for that the double crater with a rectangular box in it, and I couldn't see it for the forest, for the trees, but there it was on the screen, and you could still see the rectangle thing, but it looked like it was married up to the side of the crater. Uh, that's why sometimes when like you're looking at these videos yourself, you're going to see things that I just don't see. There's so much detail, believe it or not, in these videos that sometimes you don't see, you don't realize what you're looking at. See, that's kind of strange. It's got like a little mountain range. See that little mountain? Um, and then there's a little tiny crater right there in the middle on the top. And see, there's another double crater. Kind of looks like Mickey Mouse. And there's our lock that we were talking about. What we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the top, and I didn't see that needle ship. Maybe it wasn't a crash needle ship. Maybe it was Maybe if we're looking for it now, we should be looking for that crater because it took off and it was just landing on the moon, and now it's not there. Wouldn't that be neat? That would be absolute proof that the ship, if it's not there, we'll see. Okay, working up. See over here we got some more hornet's nest craters. It's like that, the texture of the surface, it's like it was like wet mud or something, like, or paste or clay, and then when you know, let's say you have a wet clay and then you have a heavy object hit it, then it looks like that where it splatters out. Very unusual composition. Very, there it is, guys. Look at it. I'm going to see if I can stop this. See right there? That's the Needle spaceship, the crashed Needle spaceship. It's still there. And see, what's interesting, we're looking at it from the same perspective, but yesterday it was vertical. That implies to me that either we are wobbling or the moon is wobbling, and my guess is that that's a very good indication that the Earth is wobbling, because we're getting ready to probably do a pole flip here. I've been asked about what I really think of all that stuff with Ellen, and I kind of implied that September 11th something might happen. I don't know, but it could be. And then the thing on the 26th of September. But I implied that the 29th of September was the beginning of the trib. Well, it's not the beginning of the trib, but I'll tell you what I really believe it is. I believe it's very significant. I think Revelation 12, let me continue on, will be fulfilled, and it will mark, it's a feast of trumpets, and I think it is going to be the beginning of the trumpet judgments in Revelation. And I think it precedes the Great Tribulation. And I think that after the trumpet judgment between October, November, and into next year, the Antichrist will start to take control of the world scene. And then in March, based on some work by a guy called Dewey, March 21st, I believe, he actually goes in the temple in Jerusalem, which will be built, and declares himself to be the Christ or God, and that will be the official beginning of the Great Trib. That's exactly what I believe. But I really think that this September 29th is going to be fulfilled in Revelation 12. Read your Bible. I should be, what I'm saying should inspire you to get out and read your Bible and see what's going on, because things are happening real quick. Okay, now let's look at this one thing here. I'm having a problem with the okay, I just hit the enter button. It seemed to maybe that's what stops it from moving. Just want to sit on this for a second. You can't get rid of the atmospherics, but I have been able to get in closer, I think, with the focus. The focus I have on this motorized control really does show it. That is a, take a real close look at this crater. See how it's up in the air? See, that looks like high it is, and on here how high it is. And this is the base of the crater right here, low. And it looks like the Roman Coliseum, guys. That's exactly what it looks like. And then in the middle, projecting as high as the rim, is whatever that is, an antenna complex, a UFO. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I think it's all man-made, alien-made. Let's go to the right here just a second, see if I can see something familiar. No. I'm looking for that double crater again. I want to show you that structure again. It's still there. Okay, let's keep on going up. We're going to go up to the top, and then we're going to go around the outer edge of the. See, with this setup, you see so much detail on the video. Now look at that, guys. See that large crater right there? And see that thing? Let me hit enter again. It looks like it's straight and it's sticking out. See, I don't know what it is, but that looks like that's alien made or man made. That's something artificial. Okay, let's continue up. And here's the one we saw. One thing, advantage of this kind of setup here is I'm not bouncing the scope by pulling on the cord and everything, where you get so close and then you're holding the cord and then you sneeze and everything. I'm more isolated. When I start doing this from inside the house, I'll be completely isolated from this telescope. It'll be out here in the cold. When it gets into the winter, it gets colder, and I'll be able to run it wirelessly from inside. Let's see, hit enter and see if it'll stop. See, for some reason I haven't been able to. You know, on the other setup, I was able to make it stop dead on. That's pretty good. Now here's another one. Look up here. This looks like the Roman Coliseum. See, the rim is up above the surface. I mean, physically you can see like straight lines like that's the outside of the Roman Coliseum, straight lines up and down, with a cave system that goes in underneath the Coliseum, and a radar complex in the middle, or whatever that is. It's I think alien. Because like Mike said the other day on one of my videos, that he said that there's impossible on Earth, there's no thing sticking in the middle of these craters. There's one on, not in on all of them, like there's not one right in this one here, but there is over here. I think that's because that crater has something alien. It's a base. It's an alien. It's a fallen angel base. But I think that's totally strange the way you can see the rim of the crater, and it's probably up in the air by a mile. I mean, we're looking at this thing far away, so that's an immense structure. Okay, let's do an outside survey of the circumference of the moon. And it looks like we're on the north side of the moon, but we're actually on the south side, where it's pockmarked with an awful lot of little craters. And I believe that this moon of ours is an artificial structure. I think it was constructed. I think it's hollow. NASA ran some lunar probes into the surface, and they said the moon rang like a bell for hours. The only way it could do that is if it was hollow. This is the only heavenly body known by man to not rotate. It faces Earth all the time. It's artificially, I think it's artificially controlled to point at Earth. You say, why? Well, I think that the reason is because that Lucifer, Satan, let's just let the camera settle down and look at this image while I'm talking. I think the backside of the moon has an incredible number of bases and large spacecraft from ancient days on the surface, and we can't see it. I haven't seen the movie Apollo 18, but it's kind of based on things like that, and I've seen YouTube videos that look. I mean, it's hard to. I think they're realistic. They look so real. They had this one ship that I think it was Apollo 20, and they went down, and it was just immense. And they have a video of them walking around in it, and they uncovered the bodies that were millennia old, and they brought back the one queen, mummified queen, and then they rode their dune buggy or whatever it was over to a large city on the moon, and you could see it. They didn't go into it because it looked pretty dangerous, but you could see it all, and it was really strange, guys. Really strange. Now look here. This is what Henning's talking about. These lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every one of those are probably bases, underground bases. A lot of this detail is going to be only available when the shadow line is over that part of the moon. See, I think it would even be so much brighter. Remember when Henning was panning the moon, and then all of a sudden you had a brilliant, and when it affected the camera, I mean, that's because it's so bright on the moon. That's why I put a moon filter on me. I'm running a moon filter right now, and I think it cuts down on the brilliance. Lets you see more detail, and it's particularly useful whenever you're looking at a bright moon. I bought 8 gigabyte of memory from Amazon for this computer, and for 8 gig it was like $46 or something like that. Hard to believe. I remember I've been building computers all my life, and I remember buying, I think, 4 gig of memory for like $600 maybe 8 years ago. I mean, it was, and now I'm buying 8 gig for less than $50. When I do a survey and I go over an area like this, you say, well, there's not much to see. I think there's a lot to see, but what I'm hoping. Okay, guys, I had a blue screen of death, and my situation now is changing. I think we did a pretty good survey of the moon. I showed you at the beginning of this video that post, and the moon is right now, believe it or not, half on the scope. The scope's still tracking the moon, but the post is between the, this is an 8-inch scope, so the post is between the moon and the scope, but you're still picking up an image, but it's harder to focus it. So I think this is a good time to shut it down and get this thing out. And I am glad that I was able to see the Needle spaceship again. And I wish for you and yours clear skies. We'll see you tomorrow. Weather permitting, guys. Weather permitting. Hey guys, one last caveat why I was having a problem. There's our moon, okay, and here's our scope, and look, the scope is right. See the post and the moon. You can't even see the moon now. It's just, so I was having a problem focusing it because it was out of alignment. I think we got enough video tonight, and it was a good session. I did have the blue screen of death, and I think my memory coming in and a new hard drive will make it better. And this control here tonight worked actually pretty good. And I think I get more control and sensitivity using this control. So I think I'm learning things, guys. I'm learning. And as time goes on, I'll get better at this and hopefully improve the video quality. We'll see you. Clear skies, guys.